and welcome back to the Joy Link, where we inspire and empower others to expand in joy. I'm your co-host, Brian, and I'm here with my co-host, Julia. Hi, Julia. How are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm doing great. And actually, we have exciting news because from now on, we'll be live on every Thursday, Central European Central European time at 6 p.m. And that will be on Instagram. And every other Thursday, we'll be going live on Facebook. So you can join, hang out with us, and ask us some questions. But today we have really fun topic to talk about, which is joy and traveling. And this is the topic that I think at this point, you know, that me and Brian, we love traveling. And that's a big passion for both of us. And today you will learn about what are the benefits of traveling, both in health and growth area. You will get all the reasons to travel more. And then you will hear about how travel has impacted Brian's life and also how it did impact mine. And at the end, you will have a fun task of the week as always. So, Brian, what are some benefits of traveling?
Well, there are many benefits of traveling, and I learned that really quite young as well. Yet there was a study that recently came out in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology that says travel enhances problem-solving skills, creativity, and emotional stability. So, right, having exposure to new cultures and places really stimulates our brains, and it invites us to be flexible and innovative, which is incredibly essential abilities in this thing called life. I consider myself a traveler, and I really live for this stuff, right? The excitement, the not knowing, the joy of discovery, exploration, and being open to meeting random people in random moments of random places that eventually you come to see that it's not really random after all.
Yeah, and what you said like about meeting people, that this is one of the ways how to get a better relationship and this connect with others. Because if you are lonely, traveling it's great for that because there is something special when you meet people and you go to different city with them or you go for the hike with them. Like it takes 1 or 2 days and you have like such a strong bond that it's even kind of you cannot even compare it to your friends back home because you get to hang out on a deeper level. And the thing is, for me, I've traveled solo for so many years and you are never alone. You are always surrounded by people. And what is amazing that maybe now you are lonely because you don't have many people that they are thinking in the way how you do. But that's the beauty of traveling, that once you leave your home and even country or the city, you start to meet people that they are more aligned with you. So that's one of the benefits of traveling, like forming the relationships. But then there's also one thing that I found it in the article, like how travel can improve our mental health. And one of the things was that we had an episode about joy and movement, and you know, exercises super important, but also traveling can improve your physical health. If you are not going for all-inclusive resorts or cruise when you don't move at all, then maybe that's not for you. But that's benefit you are not tapping into it. But if you are going like as a traveler, then usually people that they are outdoors and travel and walk around new places to explore, they are in better shape than the ones that they don't do that. Because yeah, I think that's a pretty good benefit of traveling as well.
Right. Yeah, and the funny part about that is that recently I had ran a Spartan race in May, and the wisdom coming through that network is really quite astonishing, right? Because the founder, Joe DeSena, recently sent out an email about travel, which was really quite synchronistic with the timing of this episode. And that email, like the heading was, "This is your sign to travel more." And pretty much he was talking about in the digital world, we can run our businesses through Zoom, yet it doesn't replace those real relationships that are really built face to face. And he also talks about the irreplaceable moments of shaking hands with someone and looking someone in the eye or sharing a meal with them. and the subtleties of the conversation that can happen as well, right? And all that's 100% true. It's like Julie and I haven't met in person yet it's one of my top travel priorities for this year.
Oh,
So,
it's awesome. Yeah.
right? So we got to look out for that, gang, right? Julie and I are going to get in a room and we're going to do some episodes.
Yeah, that's I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, absolutely. It feels that the screens are replacing us something, right? But
Right.
you can be connected to everything what is wonderful in the world through your phone. But how about what is wonderful, like watching the sunset or going somewhere instead of watching it on YouTube? Like this is irreplaceable. Like I just had in mind this thought when I was galloping through valley in Mongolia, like with my butt hurting. Like it was really, the saddle was made from wood, but this is a memory that nobody will take it from me. And also like I was there with my really good friend, and this trip, like we are bonding it over it. It's like our really cool travel memories together, because even if we're arguing or not, but we just created this moment together. And this is just so cool. Like this traveling, it take every relationship, even with yourself, to the next level. And even though it's willingly going out of your comfort zone, like getting out of it. And this is something that is not happening if you don't want to, because as you said, that everything, we can run our businesses online, but I think it's all about the balance, and travel helps that. And there was one benefit that we didn't go to, which is travel can help with lowering the stress and anxiety. Because the thing is, when you are within your stress cycle with your regular life, then when you travel, you are removing yourself from the picture, and then you can get more healthier perspective on what's going on. For example, I remember when I was climbing Mont Blanc last year with my friend, it was pitch dark outside. We were going up to the massive wall, like dangerous stuff, me with my friend were like cracking up, because I was like, and I'm afraid to send a stupid email. Like, are we freaking crazy? Like, this is real. Like, the email is nothing. Like, we're just laughing because it wasn't fun. Like, because we knew that it's a few dangerous moves, and we're like, we can fly with the rocks pretty much.
Right.
But it was fine. But it definitely gave the perspective and gave me enormous amount of confidence as a business owner. Last year was my year one, so I was like, okay, if I can do this, then I can do that as well. So that's what travels also gives. I think we didn't talk about this benefit that gives you enormous confidence, because if you see that you are able to figure out the things on your own in any different country, then you are like, I can figure out things in my country, and I can figure out things on my own in my life as well.
Yeah, it's really great to create that confidence and the perspective, right? Because like you said, it takes you out of your comfort zone. It takes you out of everything that you know and drops you in a new place. And you've got to look at it from a totally different perspective. And there's a lot of vulnerability in that. And then you can find your strength through it. So you get rid of all the other distractions, and you just got to focus on getting some food. Like, I don't speak the language. How do I have enough money? I can't even read the numbers. like it just really like brings everything back.
Oh my God. Brian, like about do I have enough money? I remember when I moved to States, I was au pair, and I had like, I think $400 or more cash. And then I was hungry and I want to order some pizza or something. I don't know. And I think I wasn't so comfortable with driving. And I was like, okay, if I order pizza, do I have enough money for it? Like, of course I had more than enough money for the pizza.
That's the funny part. You got to question everything. And especially when you're like translating money over, converting money over, it's like, am I getting a good deal here? And you got to do it all in your head, and they're staring at you. And it's like, I don't want to pay too much. I don't want to say too little. It's like, oh man, right. Yeah, that's really the fun part.
Yeah, traveling keeps you sharp, that's for sure.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it activates a ton of different places in the brain. And I really remember one time, which was really fascinating, because I had taken 3 months sabbatical from my career in Chicago that I just started. right? And I said, okay, guys, I'm leaving for 3 months. I'm going to Western Europe, first time ever. And I was, what, 24? And I said, I'm going to do this big museum tour and then end with like a 3-week design workshop in the Netherlands. And so I started in England and then, yeah, I hit like 9 countries or whatever and went through Paris and then got to Madrid and I walked in the Reina Sofia. The funny part was is I could do a lot of research on, the different artwork around the world. But the second that you turn that corner in, like I was walking through the Reina Sofia going into this really tiny room and there were only about 10 paintings on the walls. And I turn the corner and I see the Mona Lisa sitting there, right? And this isn't the one that's in the Louvre. This is the painting that was right before Da Vinci did that final one. And the only difference is there's no background. So Mona Lisa's sitting there and like the background is gray. And besides that, there's no security, there's no cameras, there's no people, like there's no glass. And like there was really no one in the room. And I could just hang out with her for as long as I wanted. It was like the wildest experience, right? And I couldn't find anything online about it. And you wouldn't really go, hey, where else can I see the Mona Lisa? Right? Because usually in the Louvre, there's about 50 people standing between you and them, and it's like a whole crowd. It's like it's chaos. So that was one of the joys of travel that just comes out of nowhere, right? These unexpected moments that you can just embrace that you can't even plan for. So yeah, travel's really amazing like that.
Yeah. So how does travel impacted your life?
Well, the funny thing is that I really define myself from a lot of the travel that I've done. And like when I was younger, I had traveled through about 35 states, like with my family and then friends and run around doing road trips and stuff like that. And then I was thinking, okay, well, there's got to be something more than this, right? The world's not just this one continent. Let's go see the rest. And on that first trip to Western Europe, there was a big inspiration that happened. I was on a channel that was going from London to Paris, and you go under the North Sea, and then I popped up on, and the channel's a really cold 1.5 hour trip. That thing is cold and dark and black, and you're like, oh man, if this thing collapses, right? And so we pop out of there, and it was springtime, and there was the big marigold fields, right? And I'd never seen that before, right? So I was like, oh, I took out my sketchbook and I drew it real fast. And
What is this? What is this thing? I don't know.
The marigold fields. So there are just fields and fields of yellow flowers,
Oh, okay.
And so you've got this yellow sloping into green and yellow. And then there's these cypress trees, right? Those really dark green ones. And then it was blue sky. And so I drew this real fast and I was like, it's a color by number. And I was like, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And that was it. And that, like, just having that planted a seed that allowed me to make 9 different kids' books that are all about travel so that kids can learn while having fun, right? So travel can unlock those crazy, let's say, destined moments or those destined journeys in your life if you want to walk that path. So travel is incredibly important to me, and it's defined a lot of my life as well. So yeah, highly recommend it.
Good one. Wow, it's amazing. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I think what travel did for me, it helped me to reassure me in who I really am. It's not because I think me growing up in Poland, I think growing up in Poland is different than growing up in the US, because for me, I had a lot of friends from a similar background, like a lot of kids from the middle class, that we had similar issues, that there was no such a thing. And I remember when I moved to the States, and I remember I went out for a Tinder date with one guy. He was from India. And he told me that I was like, he was doing so much. And I was like, why you work so hard? I couldn't get it. And he said that, Julia, because I know what it is to be really poor. And he told me the story when he was 8 years old, moving to States and all of that. But this is something that I poor in my mind before. It was not having money for the shoes, but poor in India, it's something else. That so I was just realized like how grateful I should be, and how I was unappreciated for all the things that I had back home in Europe, that we have education and for free, that we don't need to pay. If somebody has the desire, they can become a doctor without paying a single dime. And then there is the safety, the healthcare, and all these things that I took it for granted. And then in this country that was like American dream, there were people that didn't have that, because there was always like this country that somebody else was selling. I think they are selling Europe to Americans, and they are selling like US to or Australia to the Europeans, that because the grass is always greener. Right. But it was just fascinating for me to find out about these differences and to really appreciate it. And also what I see, like the impact of traveling on my life, that it was just so beautiful to see what are the things that I'm resonating with and what are the things that I don't resonate with. And that was all my choice. That with traveling, like you have so many countries to choose from where you go. And then there are so many options that you can choose where you go. And it gives you such a power, because ultimately everything is your choice. Either you take the responsibility for it or not. It is your choice. Like if you are in the not great situation, it's a result of 1,000 or 10,000 choices that you've made in your life. Either you take the credit for that or not. If it's good, probably you should. If not, then look at it. But that's the thing that the same was with traveling for me, that I realized that I can do whatever I want to, but also with that, there was always people that they were inspiring me to do more, because at home, like back in Poland, I could feel like I want more than others, that I'm not settling, or maybe that I'm not, I don't know, like appreciated from what I have, or maybe my dreams are too big. And then in different country, in the hostel or in different country during the hike, I could hear somebody having like such a big goals and big ambitions. And that was so amazing. I remember I met a friend in China, and he was like, yeah, I had this goal to be financially independent by this year. Like now I can be basically retired. And I was like, and he wasn't even 30. I'm like, that's amazing. But that's the thing, that you get to experience so many things. And then like, oh, I've traveled to 140 countries, and all of these beautiful big ideas that you don't experience, because then maybe you can see it on social media or on Facebook, but you're like, oh, they are bullshitting. It's not true. Or like somebody else paid for it. But then when you see that person in 3D right in front of you, you feel their energy. You see that they are genuine and authentic, and they live by the things that they are saying. You have no choice but believe them. And that's it. So yeah, it's pretty influential.
Yeah. And it also makes you face your own choices and your goals, right? Because if they can do that, well, what's stopping me from doing anything I want? And then you can really get that new broadened perspective. And yeah, meeting people is some of the most fun you can have out there, right? And yeah, I've done a lot of traveling by myself as well. And like you said, you're never alone, right? Being grateful for the things that you grew up with is something that you can experience more when you separate from it, right? Because you can see it from that different perspective.
Yeah, I did this volunteering a few years back in Nepal, and it took 7 minutes to go to take a shower. The shower was a communal thing where the kids, like young kids, were doing laundry, village people were taking water, and then you were taking a shower, and like that was a rural area of Nepal, like not even a fraction of the kids they have here, but like not even a fraction. And it wasn't heartbreaking, because I feel like when you are going with this PD perspective, like it's different. It's just different life, different opportunities, but it doesn't mean that if you have the chance to help, right? But also it's amazing for me. It's fascinating to see each time how world is diverse in terms of this duality, right? Like some people, they have it they live in extreme wealth, or from what others would consider wealth is just like a common standard in other country.
Yeah, that's one of the things that can hit really hard when you travel to even let's say Southeast Asia, Asia, is that you see that big discrepancy between the West, the wealth of the West, and how the rest of the world lives. And yeah, that's one of the really defining moments of my life as well, when I was walking around for about 3 weeks in Cambodia. And there's a lot of hardship that country went through even in the 80s, right? And learning about all the histories and the wars, right? It's really really quite heart-wrenching stuff. And then just realizing that they don't have running water or bathrooms, and they're living in huts, and then here come all the travelers in the West, and they're leaving trash everywhere, and it's like, come on guys, we gotta do this better. And then that in 2003 really led me to a nonprofit organization that I've been working with ever since, called the CCDO. And through donations and feet on the ground, they're really helping people to get more educated.
We donated money from the coffees that you are guys getting us to in June. Yes, in June for Brian's birthday, we donated to that organization.
Yeah. Thank you.
So yeah, it's really good. But I think the travel leads to joy, best friends, which is gratitude, and that's simple as that. So I think by listening to this episode, you are already wanting to go and take a trip somewhere. But anyways, we do have a task of the week for you. Brian, what's the task?
Yes, we are going to pick an activity that we would love to do that would give us joy, right? Just an adventure, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be something big. It can be something just fun that you want to do.
Yeah, just pick what is it for you that you want to do. So if you are into windsurfing, like, oh, where would be fun to windsurf? If you are into running, or where would be fun to run? Or if you are into books, where is fun library or bookshop? Like, get creative.
And then who would you like to share it with? Right? Because experiences and travels is always better with family or friends, or right when you share it.
Friends.
Right. Yeah. There's always family and friends on the road too that you meet.
Yes. You can choose to go alone as well. It's up to you, up to your heart desire.
Right. And then figure out where that is, right? So you've got your activity and who you want to spend the activity with, and then where is the coolest place to do that, and then put it in your calendar.
Yes, and make it happen.
Right.
That's it.
And then tell us all about it. Like, where's the adventure take you?
Yeah, we are looking forward to hear it, and also with the lives, we are looking forward to get closer to our listeners, and that will be also one of the ways for us to improve and get more topics that you are interested in. All right, guys, that is all for today. We hope that we inspired you to travel and experience more joy. And if you weren't big on traveling, then maybe that will give you a chance to reconsider.
Yeah, you bet. And feel free to look us up along the way. I bet we're going to be in a place near you as well.
Yes. And thank you so much, guys. And we see you. We are back on Tuesday and on Friday.
We will see you in the next one. All right. Ciao.